Welcome back to the How to Podcast series. My name is Dave. Happy to have you here. Today I have a superhuman with me. RJ Redden is here. RJ is going to help you connect your podcast to your LinkedIn profile. You're like, Dave, I don't have a LinkedIn profile. Perfect. Go create one and come back, because this would be really cool to do that today. We're going to be talking about making that connection so we can build community around our podcast and our LinkedIn content. So RJ's a superhuman for this. RJ comes complete with goggles and a cape, which we'll get into. Don't worry, we'll get into that. And RJ's going to be here to talk about building your community. How do we foster community via a podcast through our LinkedIn profile? She's got some great tips for us, and she's a great person. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be challenged. All the things are going to happen. So grab a hold. We're going to go on a journey with RJ Redden here on the How to Podcast series. Here we go. Okay, everyone. This is the How to Podcast series. I have a superhuman here with me today. And for those watching, the goggles and the cape are a great indication of what is to come. My guest here today on the podcast. RJ is here with me today. We are going to talk about connecting your podcast to LinkedIn. We're going to talk about LinkedIn things that you have never thought of as a podcaster. We're going to talk a little ChatGPT because that's cool and hip. And we're going to talk about how an outfit like what RJ is sporting for us today has opened so many doors. RJ. Is that too much? I think that's not too much. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about. Welcome to the How to Podcast series. Love having you here. Welcome.
Thank you. And it is my pleasure to come and talk to you because, we are, siblings from another mister or something. We've got a vibe. We've got a connection. We got to share it with people.
And I need to go and get a new costume. Because I feel completely like I haven't shown up properly to this prepared. You have, and you seem to do this quite often for those that are watching us on video. Can you please explain why are you sporting some of the coolest goggles, which are now on the top of your head for people listening, and a cape? Yes. This is not the normal thing that I've had as guests on the show. So I want to call attention to the fact that you are very creative and unique. And like I say, a superhuman. Welcome to the podcast. Can you explain to me what is going on here and how this all started?
Yes. And how this all started is different with what is going on with it today, because there's a reason that I put on the goggles and cape in the first place, but there's different reasons and more reasons why I kept it. So the story begins. I was going to this event, and this event was teaching you how to speak and sell from stage. And I was teasing the event organizer. This was back in 2018, back when we still flew wherever we wanted, without thought. In the before times. So 2018, and I'd been doing, my conversational chatbots for about a year. I was going to this event. I wasn't really super certain, I kind of just wanted to leave the house and go to Arizona, and, I wasn't real super certain what I was going to find there because I kind of had a problem talking to people. Especially like Omaha, Nebraska is where I live. You shouldn't go around talking about new, bleeding edge technology to people in Omaha. It's just not done. They're not, they like to slow down, not speed up. And me, I'm speed up. I'm hit the gas, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't match where I am. So I wasn't sure what I would find in Phoenix. And I'm also kind of, at networking events, I am live ones in Omaha. I'm a little withdrawn. I'm a little quiet. I'm a little back against the wall, beverage in my hand, hoping to find somebody I already know. It's not great. It's not great. And so I'm going to this event and I'm like, well, Maybe I'll find some folks to talk to about the chatbots. Maybe they're a little bit, more open-minded to kind of bleeding edge technology over there. But I saw the person that was organizing the event on a live stream, Jane Powers. She was talking about the event. She said it would be a superhero theme. And I thought I would tease her from the comments. Just make sure she's reading those things on this live stream. And so I put in the chat, if it's a superhero event, I'm wearing a cape. And so she saw that comment. She stopped what she was saying and she said, RJ Redden, you bleep, well, better wear a cape. And so I'm like, okay, I think I've been dared. Yeah. Don't dare me to do anything. I will go and stick my tongue on that telephone pole. Don't dare me to do things. And so I bought a cape off of Amazon and a real itchy mask that was too small for my head, I found out. And I went to this thing. I was shocked at the reception that I got. Here's the deal. You don't have to be worried about what you're going to say when you approach people when you have a cape on. They come to you. They come right over. And they already know that it's probably not going to be a normal conversation. So you don't have to worry about having the perfect thing to say. They come because they're already attracted and wanting to talk to you, and they don't expect a normal conversation from a woman in a cape. Right. So it's a perfect situation. Person after person all weekend long wanted to know about the cape, wanted to know about what I was doing. I got clients that weekend. I mean, it was absolute insanity. And why I kept the cape. Because, this was a one-time thing as far as I was concerned. Right. But I kept the cape because I had been at that conference, I was invited to do come speak at a second conference 3 weeks later in the same town, Phoenix. So I show up and I walked in the door. I wasn't sure if I should wear the cape or not. Will people think I'm gimmicky? Will they not take me seriously? All these questions, right? So what I did was pack the cape and I put it in my backpack. I was wearing my backpack as I entered the room, but I was not wearing my cape. And at that point, the itchy mask. I walk in the room and this woman who had seen me the 3 weeks prior, she was in branding. She looked at me and then she stood up across the room to me and she said, where's the cape? And I said, well, it's in my bag. I wasn't sure, if I should wear it. Is it, and she interrupted me. I don't like it when people interrupted me, but I allowed her. She's a powerful woman. She said, you will go outside. You will put that cape back on. You will put the mask back on and come back into that room. It's your branding. It's totally you. It's totally fabulous. And you just need to use this. I did it and I don't regret it for a single second. Not even when I go outside to walk the dog. I'm still wearing the cape and I don't realize it. My neighbors know I'm crazy. It's fine. It's fine. But the last thing I'm going to say about the cape, and I don't want to take too much time, but
I love it.
The last thing I want to say about the cape is this, that I am not hiding myself behind this stuff. Right. I'm not using it as a gimmick. The cape gives me permission to say whatever I want to say, to really express how I feel without editing it so I'll sound more professional or will appeal to this demographic or no. My days are are over. When I put on this cape, when I put on these goggles, it is permission to truly be me. And that, my friend, has been more attractive to my podcast and my brand than any sort of, I'm going to generate this professional sounding thing so that more people will be attractive and SEO will pick me up. No, that has been useless. Being myself, being my true self, expressing what I want to express without apology. Right. this has done me more in my business and for my podcast than anything else I've ever done.
So I have a group of people that are here on the tour with me, and we're staying behind the yellow line because we want to make sure that we honor the tour that we're on right now with you. Just to go back for a second, when you went to that first conference, superhero themed conference, how many other attendees and speakers were dressed in superhero attire?
0. Oh yeah, baby. We had nothing. I walked in there.
Did you start backing out of the room? Like, oh my gosh, what did I do?
I was like, here's what I knew. Here's what I knew about Jane. I knew. I was embarrassed. I walked in, I'm wearing this cape. It's like, what the hell? Nobody's wearing anything. I really felt like, since she had dared me, that there would be other people. No. But I knew this about Jane. I knew that if she saw me sitting in there without a cape, that she would absolutely call that out, and I'd be more embarrassed. So that's it. I kept it on, but I was tempted in that first minute. You know, it's like Stranger Things when the 4 dudes are dressed up as Ghostbusters and nobody else at school is dressed up. It's that feeling, baby. But I got through it because I knew that I would be called out if I were not wearing the appropriate garments.
Okay, for the listener who is starting a podcast, trying to create a brand that they can now build off of and create a community around branding, based on your expert opinion and your practical actions, where do we start with our podcast or our book, whatever we're creating in the world? How do we start with a good brand at the beginning? Any tips for us right off the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I know. I've been in business for years, before all this cape and goggle stuff and this branding stuff. I tried to produce the brand that other people told me that I should have. I tried to research the situation. Okay, what podcasts are out there? Where's my niche going to fit into? Okay, I'm going to fit this where I think the hole in the market is, and I'm going to say the words that Google and that Facebook would like me to say, and that's how I'm going to rock, because that's how I saw other people doing it. Oh my gosh. That is a recipe for the blandest branding you can ever have. That is a recipe for disaster, frustration, and feeling like you are speaking into a black hole, not a microphone. I swear to you, there may be people that do that and end up with great stuff. Hey, I didn't. I ended up with, I was basically saying a slightly different version of what everybody else was saying. When I embraced that inner freak flag, don't even let it fly. Hug it to yourself. What is it that makes you different, unique, and special? Right. That is the hook to bring people in. On my podcast, I do not need 1 billion listeners. It'd be nice, but it's not going to, for me, I need an engaged audience. I need people to come play with me. How am I going to get that? I'm going to extend my real self out there. This may be a scary prospect for some of you. I totally get it. Listen, I am a left-handed gay, there are all sorts of things that woman in technology. There's all sorts of things I am not supposed to be. I was absolutely afraid of standing out there and standing up for who I am and what I believe in, because it's against what some people say. Right. It really is. Getting threatened on the internet is no fabulous thing, as we know. Nobody wants that.
Right.
But we also want to put ourselves out there. There is a silent game being played all the time, especially if you're new to podcasting, if you're new to putting yourself out there, having a show, doing the thing. And that is the fight as to how do I get people, and which, I've just told you, it's the blandest recipe in the world is what most people do. And how do I stand out? Because the tallest grass is always the one to be chopped down first by the lawnmower. We don't want to get chopped. And what I'm saying is that if you can stand confidently in who you are and what you believe in, that message will resonate with people like you across the world who believe the same things that you do. It is not quantity of audience. It is quality of engagement in your community.
100%. 100%. Tell me about your podcast. Let's promote it right here. People want to hear more. What do we do?
Oh, it's called the Epic Engagement Adventure.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I created it because, I've done lots of shows. I had done one all about, conversational bots called The Bot Signal. What a great name. What a great name. I had a little bot signal avatar. It was so fabulous. I absolutely loved it. But what I began to know was that show wasn't serving my audience. Here's why. They really, that show only serves other geeks like myself. I wanted to serve my community, which is coaches. So I created the Epic Engagement Adventure because coaches want engagement. They want engagement. And I'm teaching them how to get it. But I also want to bring in another person every week who's going to talk about how they get engagement with their audiences. So it's a fresh influx. The glass is always full of ideas. So that's what it's about. The first 15 minutes is all about the guest, how much of a rock star they are, which is, 5 guitars out of 5 on my scale is why I invite people on. Mm-hmm. And then the second half is about how do you get engagement? What in the past, what do you use that's great? What have you used that hasn't been good for you? I want to hear everything. Right. Because again, it's about the engaged audience. It's about an active community.
Nice. Okay. So, here I want to paint a picture for people that are listening with us along. RJ, you are the teacher here. And the early grades, when they go for a field trip, they have a rope and all the kids hang on to the rope and we go down the sidewalk to wherever. And you're going to take us for this walk. You're going to take us on a journey. So all of us are now holding on to this rope. We have no idea where we're going, but you have something in store for us as podcasters. I want to know how I connect my podcast to my LinkedIn, why I need to do this, because I thought LinkedIn was just a way to find my next job and post my resume. That's about as far as I've used LinkedIn. I am not using it to the fullest extent of what it could be for me as a podcaster. So I'm holding onto this rope. We're on a journey with you. I'm ready to go. All my friends are here. We're all holding the rope. Let's go for a walk. Where are we heading? Can you kind of take us on a little journey now?
I would love to.
Okay.
First of all, the rope is for all of our safety. Because what I'm about to tell you pretty much blew my mind, when I realized it. Little background on LinkedIn. Why should you care? When I first got on LinkedIn, it was a place to put your resume so HR people could find you. It was 80% HR people for the longest time. LinkedIn has changed greatly in the past few years, I would say. And for me, I never thought I could do well on LinkedIn. Like Cape and Goggles, maybe Facebook, probably TikTok, but LinkedIn, that's full of business professionals. But when I say the word professional, you're probably, you're probably thinking about a guy in a suit and a tie, not a girl in a cape and goggles. So, how popular am I going to be there? Is this a waste of time? Something happened to me that was very fortunate. I got hacked on Facebook. And it was bad. It got everything shut down, account, page, ad account, absolutely everything. And I could not find a human to get that back to save my life. So at that point, I won't go over how frustrated I felt, but at that point, I was just like, why do I don't know if I want to spend my time somewhere that doesn't care about me this much. So I was looking for other places to be. That's when I started to take a second look at LinkedIn. I looked at the events feature. Okay. The events feature. This is very important. You can invite many, many people to your events. When I do my podcast, I live stream to LinkedIn and YouTube simultaneously. So my show appears every week. So what I started to do was think, well, if I could have an event on my page every week. When you set up an event, there's a little box you can tick that says, I would like to collect information from folks that say yes to this event. And you can invite up to 1,000 people a week. That's a lot of people, David. That's a lot of people. And one of the things about my podcast was, gosh, I can never, how do I connect with people when they love listening to me, but they're probably folding their laundry and maybe they don't have time to go to a link right now? You know what I mean? How can I get in touch with people? Well, that's a really wonderful way when you invite them to the event, and they hit that little thing that says yes, and then I get their information. I can talk to them through their email. I can just say, hey, welcome. By the way, don't know if you know this, but we got a little community over here. Click this link. Come on in. We would love to have you. There's an ongoing conversation over there. Yes. To me, it really linked. Yeah. Oh, that was a bad joke. Grown,
ding, ding,
everyone.
ding.
Oh, yes, darling. I like to cause my audiences physical pain. Anyway, it really was that missing link between, because all of a sudden I could invite tons of people to my podcast. Every single week I can invite tons of people. And I can know, who is interested. And I can further communicate with them. It's not, I'm just going to talk to this microphone until things get big, and then this will be super great. No, this offers me a way to connect with people that I never had through any other platform ever. So that's one of the reasons to, consider LinkedIn live streaming to that platform, is because, holy moly. It allows me to connect in a way that I never had before. What else can I tell you about LinkedIn? I feel like I'm leaving them out a lot.
How do you, so you have somebody, how do you interact with the people that are following you on LinkedIn? What are you offering to them outside of the podcast recording itself?
So what I'm offering them is, I will also, because sometimes, people don't always have 30, 45 minutes. Sometimes they binge me. That's great. I love it. But what I do is I have somebody go through, pull out the nuggets of coolness. And I post those little videos, probably 60 to 90 seconds each. They're 3-4 every single week. I also open those nuggets up to the people that I've interviewed, because it makes them look like a rock star too. So if, you didn't catch the full episode, here's a 60 to 90 second nugget, and I'll link you back to the big episode. I'm offering that, but I'm also offering community. Here it is. Unless my community moves forward, I may as well not have a community at all. I want to help them move forward. We're a bunch of people, and I count myself as a peer, not a top down, I'm going to give you what I know, and you're going to all go, woo! That model's ancient. So I'm a peer in this community. We are all moving forward to change our marketing so that it is more engaging and connective. We are not focusing on quantity of list members. We are focusing on quality. We're focusing on expertly attracting with a laser beam those people that are going to resonate with our message, and as coaches, be willing to do the work that we have going on. So it's about wanting to change your marketing. And I want everybody in there. It's a free community. I want you to change. I want you to have a different perspective on how things can be done rather than the traditional ways of marketing, which I don't love. So that's what I have. I got community. I got like-minded people. I got little clips for you. I got big clips for you. I got at least 17 bad jokes for you. You can have them all at once if you want. But I warn against that. Yes, I got it all. You can have as much me as you want. You never have to pay for anything at all if you don't want to.
Nice. Okay. From a LinkedIn perspective, for those people who are new to it or haven't given it enough attention as a tool in your toolbox to support what you're creating, give me a couple, do this, and a couple, please, for the love of all things great in the world, stop doing this on LinkedIn, please.
May I start with the stop doing this?
Oh, please. I'm here. I got my pen. I'm ready. I'm writing.
Oh, yes. Please write one word down, and that word is pitch slap. Pitch slap with a P, my friends. I did not just curse, although I do occasionally. Please, for the love of anything you consider holy, and perhaps some things you don't consider holy.
Beautiful.
Do not cold message people on LinkedIn. Do not do this. There are so many people that are doing that right now. I'm actually creating a different little, some segments on the side for my podcast, as you might say. It's called Pitch Slap Bingo. I've got like 7 little elements, that I rate the pitch slap on. I do it for cold emails. I do it with cold messaging on LinkedIn. People are so tired, and alienated by pitch slaps. And what I mean by that is, if it contains, from somebody you have never met before, a wall of text that can be seen from space, if it contains if it contains any links that you did not ask for, if it contains a pitch for services, and especially if it contains a pitch for services that you yourself produce and provide for people, it just might be a pitch slap. You know what I'm saying right now. I can't remember all 7 criteria right now. Oh, all caps. That's another one. If you have all caps in your message anywhere, if you have all caps in your profile anywhere, I will not answer you. That is a pitch slap. I am all for, let's illustrate this. Let's illustrate this terrible, terrible way of connecting with people. And let's bring to the fore this idea. Technology is sometimes good, and sometimes it can also be used for evil. It's like the Force. So it can be used for good in order to replace functions that we would rather not do. It cannot be used to build relationships. Okay? Mm-hmm. There is no getting around getting to know somebody as a human being. We have to stop marketing to people's screens. Screens won't buy from you. People will. Establishing trust takes time. Mm-hmm. It takes effort. What I do that's a specialty is I laser target my audience so that I make sure that they are qualified and interested before they end up taking a little adventure with me. I'm not wasting my time. Anywhere, anytime. All of my meetings are vitally important to me, whether that person is ready for a transaction or whether they're ready to become a member of my community, a collaborative partner, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. I just need the right people in my community. So for me, the second I put the same bland message in some sort of automation system, and trust me, I love automation systems when they're used for good.
Mm-hmm.
But when I know that I just got the same bland message, and it starts a little like this: I see that you're having great success this year. My company offers marketing services. These are all the awards. Please go look at our website, follow me here, here, and here. And of course, here's my link for a phone call. Hey, I have a friend. His name is James Hipkin. James will answer these people and he will say, are you trying to sell me something? If you would like to sell me something, I would like to invite you to this calendar link where you will get 20 minutes uninterrupted of my time. It costs $300. If you would like to sell me your thing, please hit the link. By the way, I don't guarantee that I'll buy anything. You just get my ears for 20 minutes. Thank you. He never hears from him again. Isn't that genius? Oh my God, I think you'd love my friend James.
I want to meet James. I want to meet James. That is amazing.
It's so beautiful because it's like, let's cut to the chase. What are you really doing here? And here it is. If you're new on LinkedIn, it's a great time. It's a great time to sit and think about what are your real intentions?
Right.
Making connections with people, making them feel seen, heard, and cared about is not different than it was in 1982. The way that we broadcast our message is different than 1982. Mm-hmm. I believe cassette tapes were popular, at least 8 tracks were popular at that point. We had a few 8 tracks at home. Anyway, the building a relationship has not been different since the caveman days. Mm-hmm. It has not. Let's find something in common. What are your ideas? Do you align with me in some of those ideas? Maybe we can make something happen together. These things, and paying attention to the people, when people are first podcasting, the mistake is, let's get somebody new. Let's get somebody new. How many more people have downloaded? Let's get somebody new. Can you connect with the people that are already listening? Can you connect with them and ask them how it's going? Can you co-create something marvelous and magnificent with the people you already know in order to get the message out there? If the people you already know are already aligned with you, then they might have some excellent ideas on how to make your podcast the very best thing for that niche of people. Don't ignore the people you know, my friends. Don't ignore the people that are already downloading. If you can possibly contact them, which, that's a way to set it up always as a LinkedIn event, take people's information, contact them. That's one way to get people's information so you can connect. But when you're contacting, really connect. Be a human being.
Right.
Do not be a robot.
And that's happened for me, RJ. I put SpeakPipe on my website so people can leave me a voice message.
Yeah.
And what I do with that message is I put them into a future episode.
Yes, you were telling me about this.
Right. So
Yes.
RJ leaves me a message. RJ has a question about the podcast or a comment. I include you in a future episode. And then what I also do is I do a bonus episode for RJ where I pull in your trailer for your show. I talk about your show on my podcast and I ask my audience to go and support you on your podcast and go like, follow, share, leave a comment and go and support RJ so that we can build community together. Because RJ is a listener just like you are. And I did that for a woman in Australia, RJ, and when I did the little voice message she left me and included in the podcast, she left me another message and said, thank you. That was so cool of you to do that. And then came the bonus episode, which came after that. And then she called me back laughing and crying on her message that no one has ever given her that kind of attention before. And she's like, who does this? Like you are a real person. And I can't tell you what this means to me as a new podcaster starting, that you would take time to do that for me. Right. And that's what it's all about. It's real people. It's not my assistant's assistant who takes you 5 levels to get to me to ask me a question. And I had another gentleman come on from England. He typed in to Google, How to Podcast. And the name of my show is How to Podcast. Right? He typed that into Google and I came up. We set up a Zoom call. He came on the screen and he looked at me and I'm like, hey, it's Dave from the How to Podcast series. Nice to see you. And he's like, it's really you. That's the intro to your show. That's really you. You're the real guy. And I'm like, yeah. And it's the same person that's on the microphone that you would meet on the street or at an event wearing a cape and the goggles. It's the same person. This is not a showy thing, not a fake thing. Sunday. No,
Okay.
I am a real person. You are a real person. And I don't have to, the one thing I taught my kids when they're young, RJ, was it's easier to remember the truth than it is to remember a lie. So if you're living a lie, it's really hard to remember who you told what lie to and when. Because then you got to try to remember it all. But when it's the truth and it's really you, you never have to remember it. You never have to struggle because it's really you. And what I love about you, RJ, is this is really you talking. And no one else can be you. Only you. That's what I love about talking to you, RJ, because we need more real people in life. We need real connections in life. And you're demonstrating that to us as we go on this little journey together, holding the rope, this is what I'm hoping more people attain to, is be you, be creative, be unique, stand out, but don't stand out for the wrong reasons, stand out for the right reasons. That's what I see when I talk to you.
Well, and that's such a huge message. You know, by the way, let's just rewind a second. Another 80s reference. Let's just rewind a second and say, way to make somebody feel seen, heard, and cared about. That's all you need to do to connect with somebody. And you took that time. That right there. Appreciating people, that's huge. It's one of the things that I teach my clients to do. You know, we do a lot of outreach stuff. One of the things is, have you reached out and done a review or a thank you this week? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that, my friend, what goes around comes around every time.
Right.
And fast forwarding to what you just said about, shoot, I just forgot what we were talking about. Oh, about BU. What if, my friends, hold on to the rope because this is a tough one. What if your hook is what is unique about you?
Mm-hmm.
Not some combination of sexy words that you pay somebody $10,000 or something. You know what I mean? What if it's not a sexy combination of words? What if the real you could stand up and stand out? I'm here to tell you, you can. Baby, if I can do it, you can do it. This is no special talent. This is stubbornness. I like to call it persistence, but my wife calls it stubbornness. Anyway, no, the willingness to say, this is who I am. Do you want to know more? We make marketing overcomplicated. We don't need 1,000 landing pages. We don't need all the things that people tell us we need. I'm not here to say that we don't need computers. Darling, I work in technology. Not a good look there. What I'm saying is we need to use it in the right places, and in the right places, which is with our audience and with our community, we need to be fully present and uniquely us.
RJ, before we jump to one last question on the whole thing about using things correctly, please let us know where everyone can find your podcast, find you, more contact information, and then I have another question for you.
Okay. Well, a really great place to find me is, LinkedIn it. LinkedIn, baby! Hop on that profile. I've worked a lot on that, because it's just, I love LinkedIn like you wouldn't believe. LinkedIn profile is a great place. Also, just hit me up on meetrj.com. Takes you right to my calendar. If you have listened to these things and it has stirred something within you and it is not the burrito you ate last night, then you need to hop on to meetrj.com because we need to talk. We need to chat about the future possibilities, all the things you have going on. We need to chat and be friends. That's just it. So hop on there, hop on my LinkedIn profile. Let's get it going on.
So bonus content for those that have listened to this point. Thank you for being here with us with RJ. We talk about using things the proper way for good, not evil. Talk a little bit about some of the AI tools that you're playing with and how you're using it to save the world. Talk about it. What are you using? What's up?
All right, my darlings. I know you have heard about ChatGPT.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. We were talking just before the show. A lot of the impression that it gives, because it's a generative AI. It's not a simple if this then that AI.
Right. Yep.
And because of that, a lot of people there are people that are afraid. There are people that, that want to use it to generate every word that they would have to write for the rest of their lives because they hate how much writing they have to do to market themselves. I get that. Trust. There are people using it in all kinds of ways. Here's what I've noticed. There's an awful, and AI in copywriting has been around for a while. Couple years it's been around, actually. This is not new because people were able to either, get hold of AIs of their own before ChatGPT came out, or maybe they were able to hook into that early. I don't know. But generative copywriting has been around for a while. I implore you to I do research on ChatGPT 3 all the time. I don't take word for word what it says and put it out there. The reason why is because everybody else is going to do that. They're all going to do it. They're all going to go, write me a blog article on the top 10 ways to, make your desk stand out for a good live stream. I just made that right up just now. And the thing is going to generate them 10 ways and they're going to smack it on the internet. People are going to do this forever and ever because it's easy. Mm. My friends, hold on to that rope because we're together in this. Don't take the easy route on that.
Yes. Yes.
Because if we have mountains of pre-generated robotic sounding sameness, you can't stand out with that. You can stand out with your own voice. Take what, I use it for content ideas all the time. I use it to bring together concepts that I never thought about before. And then I say to my audience, hey, guess what? What's going on? I use it all the time, but I use it as an idea generator. I use it, and I will say this, David. My wife and I were in a restaurant on Saturday, and we were watching a baseball game. Now, what do the guys do a lot? They touch themselves in a certain place. Okay, these baseball players, and I love baseball. The hats. Yeah. That is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I asked Megan. I said, Megan, like all sports, all guys wear a certain piece of their uniform, and I'm sure it needs adjusted all the time. But in baseball, you see it so much more often than any other sport. And so I said to her, why do guys touch their cups so much why is it so much more evident in baseball? And she said, well, I don't know. And I said, let's ask ChatGPT. So we did. It provided us a succinct explanation. It said there are many reasons, and this happens in many sports, but in baseball, the guys are a little superstitious. And sometimes that's, what's causing it to appear so much more often. And I'm like, that's great. Could you write me a story about a baseball player and touching his cup? It did. It wrote me a story about Sammy Lightning Walker, who had this particular ritual, and and it was a beautiful story. And then I said, okay, could you write it in as if you were using the voice of Edgar Allan Poe? And it did. My wife and I, at this moment, people think we are obviously completely insane because we've lost it at the table. And then for the final time, the final iteration, I said, please write this in the form of a rap done by one of the drag queens on RuPaul's Drag Race. It lit up my night. Darlings. It was super fabulous. And what I'm saying here, because there was a point to this. The point is, this is a tool that can be used for good or evil, just like the Force, just like lightsabers. You know what I'm saying to you. You can use this to produce a genuinely awesome amount of cool stuff in your own life and in your clients' lives and in your community's lives. You can do this. Take the time and generate some cool stuff. And if you ever generate something that needs to be written, do not copy and paste. Put yourself in there. Put your hook in there. Put you in there. That is the way to be successful.
AI is never going to don goggles and a cape and be unique and be authentic and real and show heart and care and love for a community. Those tools can't do any of those things. Right. RJ, you do that on a regular basis, and your community is not coming for your microphone. They're not coming for your AI tools. They're not coming for your profile photo. They're coming for you.
Yes.
And what are you going to do with them when they show up on your doorstep? And if it's one person, or if it's 100,000, how much value do you have for your community and how do you display it on a regular, consistent basis? And that's what I'm learning from you, RJ. And you're a great example of it. And I love it because you're not just telling me, you're demonstrating. And that's why you're on my show today, because I want people to see and hear an example of somebody who's doing it the right way. Use the tools. They're there for a reason. Awesome. But the tool can't be you. You have to be the connection point between your audience and your content. It has to be you. RJ, thank you for modeling that.
It has been my pleasure to align with you and your audience today. Listen, we're going to take over the world. Nice people do win. Genuine people do win. And I just thank you for allowing me to take a space, take a seat, and talk about what I know, because I really enjoy the sound of my own voice. I don't know about you.
I know your calendar is jam-packed full, and the fact that you gave us so much of your time today to take us on this little walk, holding the rope, you've taken us to a place maybe some of us have never gone, and for that I'm very grateful.
Thank you, my friend.